Alright, so today we're going to be looking at the Snow Wolf Quattro Plow, and we're going to be looking at a Kage Snow Fire Plow. So right away, this Kage Plow is about 4 to 5 years older, and this Quattro Plow is brand new this year. So let's come closer and take a look at these couple of things. We're going to talk about a few things about them, and then we're going to get out and actually use both of these and see which one's more efficient and which one's better. Now this Quattro Plow is a 7-foot plow. If you come over here, look at it from here, you can see this angle that the wings create that bring the outside of the plow basically to 8 foot or almost the identical size of the Kage plow. But the actual moldboard and the blade here is only 7 foot wide. Now when you're back dragging, of course, these are going to fold back into a back position, and then you're still only going to have 7 foot of back drag because that curve is going to be going the opposite way then. So when you're back dragging, it's really only going to contain 7 feet. When you're going forward, it's still going to contain 8 feet because of the arch they put in this. If you come around this side over here and look at it from this way, you'll see that obviously the Kage is much bigger, significantly bigger in height than the Quattro Plow. This is going to give you a lot more containment of snow, and you can see your angles on here leading you down to almost halfway up on the Kage is going to give you a lot more containment of snow on the Kage Plow. Now we're going to see if having the hydraulic wings makes up an efficiency for having a bigger plow or a higher plow. This plow comes in like 7 to 11 foot increments. No matter what size you get, the wings are always going to be the same size, so that containment size, the height here, isn't going to change. Alright, so what we're going to do now is basically cycle through taking the Kage off and then putting the Kage back on. See how long that takes compared to having the Quattro Plow wings forward, putting the wings back, and then putting the wings back forward again, so we can get an idea of if it's a faster cycle time with having wings versus having a Kage system. This is where the Quattro Plow really separates in the way it scrapes and works from the Kage Plow. Now, like I said, this is an older Kage, so I don't know if there's anything new that Kage has brought to the market to, go up against this. But basically, inside here is a torsion axle. So essentially what that does is this whole mounting plate here and this whole piece here move individually from each other. That gives you a sense of the plow floating separately from your mounting plate here that mounts to the skid loader. That way, if you're coming at an incline or something like that on a driveway where it's a quick, sharp up, you're not going to be lifting the tires of the machine off the ground when that plow goes up in front of you. That plow will move independently up and down from the machine. It also, in the pin up here, has a little bit of side-to-side motion to float side to side. So it gives you a bunch of contouring abilities. With the Kage, you don't have that up and down floating. If you put the boom of the skid loader in float, then you can float. But the plow and the mounting plate here are one solid piece through that piece of metal there. But what it does have is these pins here rotate and oscillate, so this whole blade will oscillate independently from the skid loader, and it oscillates, I would say, at least twice as far as the Quattro Plow does. So you're going to get a lot more oscillation out of the Kage, but there isn't an up and down floating separate from your mounting plate here. Another thing you can look at in this area here is it's super easy to walk through here because of the open design. But because of that open design, your mounting plate is a lot further back from the plow. So your plow is actually going to stick out further on the Kage than on the Snow Wolf. It's going to be further away from you when you work. With this open design in this area, you've got a lot better visibility from sitting in the cab down to these areas. Now that's not really useful for much, but it is better visibility. All right, so we just pulled up to one of the driveways here, and we're gonna show you what the Quattro plow really has to offer in a residential application. So I've pretty much formed an opinion on this plow as of now, you guys. This is the lowdown with this Snow Wolf Quattro plow. Hands down, the best thing about this plow, without a doubt in my mind, Snow Wolf merch, is that torsion axle that kind of floats the blade up and down. Hands down, that is the best thing in there. You can kind of see right in here when he puts some down pressure on it. You can see how that floats up and down with the contour separately from the machine. And that's where this really, I mean, that is hands down, that's better than the wings, that's better than anything about this plow. That is the best feature, the number one upsell, is that torsion axle, you know, connection piece there, so to speak. So you can see here, got to windrow it out, so he's moving the wings out. In a situation in a residential spot like this, there'd be nowhere to take your cage off, your box off, so being able to do that instead is excellent. But that's pretty much, I guess, more or less my opinion. Like I was saying, there is some quality control concerns I've had with it. You can see those tires aren't best on this slippery surface, but like I was saying, that's probably the best situation for this plow, is a residential application. That's about the only place, residential, potentially townhomes, but mainly a residential driveway like this is where you're gonna get the best versatility and use out of this. It's where you're gonna get the best bang for your buck. If I was on a large commercial parking lot, quite frankly, I'd probably rather have a cage. I really would. But on a driveway like this, like I said, those wings, when they're folded out in a scoop pattern, they're 8 feet wide. When they're tucked back like that, you're about 7 feet wide, so you can go right up to a garage door. Fit right in between most garage doors, smaller home garage doors, and back drag and get really close. That way your shovelers don't have to get as close, or, you know, they can do less work. The other thing I'm seeing right now though, as you can see, those black poly pieces do stick out a good ways. So that makes it, that is I guess a visibility concern, I would say. Because you can see where he thinks he's good, where you can only see up to here and you think you're in the clear, but then those black poly edges stick out a little bit further. Alright guys, so now we've got a cage on. Obviously, bigger driveway, so we're not trying to compare times of how fast it gets it done. But this is an 8-foot cage. That was a 7-foot Snow Wolf, like we were showing you. With it in scoop mode, they're about the same size. The cage can contain more within its box system. So that is a benefit. If you're doing, that's why I'm saying, if you're doing huge lots that you gotta push from one end all the way to the other, that is why I'd rather have the cage. Not only do I think it's a little bit heavier duty, and it's a little bit higher quality, less things to break and go wrong, but you can put more in the box, it can carry more, and that's why on larger lots I'd rather have a cage. However, you can also see the hydraulic side to side twice as quick. I'm sure on the Snow Wolf and on the cage alike there is a way to adjust that, but they are twice as quick, hydraulic side to side. Now, on residentials like this, where if we gotta come up to that garage door up top at the house and take the cage off to back drag, that's where your Snow Wolf's gonna be a lot more efficient. But Colton's got a lot of time on this skid loader and plow setup here. A lot more than I do, so he's extremely efficient with this. He's been doing townhomes for the last 3 years, non-stop, you know, with the Kage, this exact Kage, and an older New Holland, but nonetheless, he's got some time and he knows the best way to operate this thing. I will say that flex frame, that torsion bar that the Snow Wolf has in it, that is hands down the best thing I've ever seen. And you can see traction's becoming an issue here. Now, next thing we'll need, Mike, is some claws. Jeez. But that torsion frame that Snow Wolf has on that plow is hands down the best thing I've seen on a skid loader plow. Oh my gosh, it is slippery. In new technology, I would say that's probably one of the sweetest things I've seen. I mean, that is crazy, just, you know, a simple idea, but it's crazy cool how well it works. You can see here with how sharp this Kage turns, Colton's actually coming right up to the door. If he had better traction, he could come right up to the door and not actually even have to take the Kage off to plow it. And this is how he's always done a lot of these townhomes. He's never even, if, you know, you have traction, he's never even had to take the box off, and he can get pretty close with it. If you got shovelers in here at your townhomes, they can whip it out, and then he can come through and scoop it up. If you had ideal traction, he could get even closer. For the sake of comparison, pull up over here, drop the Kage off, and back drag these, and then put it back on so we can see, you know, get an idea of what the difference it would take versus just folding your wings to the side.
All right.
Now, on a driveway like this, you guys saw on the other driveway.
Time it?
I've already timed it in a clip before, but we'll just do it.
And the other one?
Yeah, but we'll just do it here just for funsies. So you guys saw in the over there when we were coming up the driveway, because it was so tight, if we had to take the Kage off, we'd have to go all the way back down the driveway to take it off. So here on the driveway where we got a lot more room, we've got room to take it off. He can just drop it here. Get no traction. And then pull up to the door to do our back dragging. You can see our back drag kit there working away to help contain the snow. Look at that, these folks won't even have to shovel, not a wink. Alright, so once he's done here, he's going to put the Kage back on with the cool spin move. See, that's the problem with the Snow Wolf, is you can't do a cool spin move like that to put your Kage back on. This driveway is icy as all get out. So you can see that he's using that sharp turn radius, that angling of the Kage to his advantage, you know, as much as he can to get in there without having to do any back dragging. You can see we've got to do a bit here. How close can you actually get with that Kage system on? So you can see where it landed and then where he got here. I'm in his way. I should get out of his way. So that's your difference maker there. A couple of feet.